We know that interfaith leadership is an important tool for the civic good, but how do we get started? Earlier, we looked at how dialogue can help build relationships across difference. This is an essential component of developing pluralism. Now we look to a second way of building relationships through opportunities for cooperative action. How do we create spaces and situations that foster interfaith cooperation, appreciative knowledge, and work for the common good?
Like dialogue, interfaith cooperation and action requires safe space. Once you've established a safe space for interfaith cooperation, how do you go about creating the opportunities for people to come together, build relationships, and put their shared values into action through cooperation?
We are all starting from somewhere, and we all have resources available to help us affect change. What is it that you hope to accomplish? Do you want to host an incredible event that allows people from different religious communities to build relationships with one another? Do you want to see a more interfaith literate residential life staff on your campus? Do you want to campaign for food justice through an interfaith framework? The interfaith movement is large and diverse. There are countless ways for you to bring about meaningful change in your community. You'll want to choose an activity or project that is welcoming to the widest range of people and won't inspire divisive arguments or the shaming of any particular group. How can we be sure we are being as inclusive and effective as possible? We can start by avoiding events that exclude large groups of people or advance divisive theological or political views, such as a rally for abortion rights, which would alienate many religious groups who hold that life begins at conception, or a service project cooking hamburgers, which might alienate religious groups who practice vegetarianism as a religious value. Just like bad dialogue, bad interfaith activities set participants up for divisions rather than connections. Some common action issues that tend to work well for interfaith groups are projects that are based on widely shared, deeply held values, such as addressing homelessness or hunger, human trafficking, or environmental cleanup. Start by asking, what are real community concerns that need to be addressed? And then ask, are these concerns that all religious and ethical perspectives share? Great interfaith activities have participants saying,
I can clearly connect my faith or identity to this project.
I am inspired by other people of different faiths and identities connecting to this activity, and I understand that we can do this activity together despite our differences.
While tackling this project together, we talk about our faiths and identities in ways that deepen our connections to our own traditions and our relationships with one another.
Interfaith cooperation requires that we come together around a common goal while being aware of the differences we have with one another. Rather than asking participants to put differences aside, we want to recognize that those differences exist along with our shared values. Then we can come together on issues of shared concern. After you have determined what you would like to accomplish, identify your resources. Before you can run an event or lead a campaign, you need to take stock of what you have at your disposal in order to make your event effective and compelling. What are your own personal strengths? Are you a gifted storyteller? Great organizer? A strategic planner? Start with your strengths and determine what other strengths you may require to be successful. Who might be a strategic ally for your project? What models exist for this type of activity that you want to host? Where is this kind of work happening in your community? Which organizations are seeking people like you to power the work that they are doing? What are your financial or physical resources?
Community service projects are one example of a common and effective space for interfaith engagement. Service projects can bring together a wide range of people who orient around religion differently for a common cause. These projects provide great opportunities to learn how different religious traditions approach the same issues. Service projects ask people to bring their religious identities into the work and the conversation, inviting respectful conversation about differences as well as commonalities. Other ways to foster relationships and bring people together include film viewings and discussions, hosting a speaker or discussion panel, or an event that caters to creativity, like an interfaith concert, art show, or essay contest. All of these events provide opportunities for people to deepen their understanding of their own religious and ethical identity, and to identify and build relationships around their shared values with others. Selecting the right project or issue can be difficult because some may view the same issue from opposing sides. It can be difficult to remember that justice is defined and understood differently by different religious groups. So what may be a just position for one group may be an affront to justice in the eyes of another group.
Finally, remember that interfaith work is difficult. Sometimes we make mistakes, or tensions and divisions come out despite our best efforts. Just because an event does not come off without a hitch, or an issue doesn't take off right away, does not mean that it is a complete failure or you are not an effective interfaith leader. Part of what will make you a good leader is your ability to reflect on both successes and challenges in order to identify what you can work on for next time. It is also important to recognize things that may be beyond your control. Be sure to note what worked from your event. Were people able to connect over shared values? Was there time and space for meaningful dialogue? Did people feel comfortable bringing their religious identities into the work that they were doing together? Taking the time to reflect on the success and failures of an event or project will help you strengthen your interfaith leadership skills and identify additional resources and challenges for future projects. Hopefully, you will have been able to build relationships with some of your participants who might be able to help you reflect and plan an even more successful project the next time around.